So we'll just start off right now, if that's cool with you.
I'm good to go.
Hey. So when I was reading on you, I saw that you moved to Detroit at a young age. I didn't know that previously.
Yeah.
How was that like? Just the transition from West Virginia, then Detroit?
Oh, huge culture shock. you know, like most of the people that look like me were just, close family and cousins and things like that. And then when I got
Right.
to Detroit, I seen a bunch of people that look like me, you know. And it was just a totally different environment, coming from, West Virginia, which is like almost heaven, and then being
Right.
thrust into Detroit, Michigan, which is like going to Baghdad overnight. Just gangs,
Yeah.
violence, but it made me who the person that I became. It gave me the best of both worlds, I believe. And it gave me a choice to, decide what type of person I wanted to be, whether I wanted to be
Right.
bad or whether I wanted to be good, do something good for my neighborhood or do bad things in my neighborhood. And I just chose to do the good things. That's all. But it was a total learning experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
I also saw you played a lot of basketball while you were there. Some with
Yeah,
NBA players.
yeah. I went to the same church as Chris Webber, one of the
Oh,
Fab Five. You know, played basketball with Rashawn Leonard, Sean Rashford. I mean, Willie Mitchell. I mean, all of these guys were like all Americans when I was coming
right.
up. But they had that, that perfect opportunity to be recruited for prep schools and things like that. And I basically stayed in the inner city,
Right.
raised on welfare, and they got that golden ticket, that opportunity. But they were still down to earth. They would still come back to the hood and still hoop with us at Oak Park playground, and we would go to this church, Rosedale Park Baptist Church, together. And Chris Webber's dad was basically my deacon. Macy Weber was my church deacon, and mentor and all of that. So we got to see him a lot before, he went to the NBA. Basically watched his whole career just blow up right there. And it was fun. He was the one who showed me what giving back was all about. It was Chris Webber who really showed me that, him and John Sally from the Detroit Pistons. Chris, like when he went to Michigan, and he just got huge. He got like bigger than all. Like when he came back home, we was like, "What are they feeding you, man?" Like he was huge. And I remember he came back to church with like Nia Long from Boys in the Hood. I guess he was friends with her or dating her or something. And he came back, but he was big. He looked like a monster, man. He just like blew up. And then he was drafted to the Golden State Warriors. And once he got that, he got the big suburban and everything, but he always came back to the hood,
That's great.
and he would like pick me up, and nobody believed that it was him. It was like, man, ain't no way Chris Webber coming to pick me up, man. He's a star now. I was like, no, he's still down there. So he would come pick me up. We would go into the projects and low income areas, and he would pass out school supplies and backpacks, coats for winter. I mean, toys for tots. I mean, everything. He was always so humble and down to earth, and he
Yeah,
never forgot where he came from. So it kind of rubbed off on me, and it's something that I've been living by ever since.
that's amazing. How old were you while you were in Detroit? Like, how long did you stay there?
Well, from I was 10 going on 11, so this is like 1984, all the way up until about 2001. So when I came out of there, I was like 24, 26, about 26 when I left Detroit. Came back home to West Virginia. My little brother went to prison, so I came back down here to actually see him
Oh,
before he got sent away. He got 83 years in Beckley Federal Corrections. And I didn't want to like miss that last couple of moments that I had with him, not
right.
knowing whether he's gonna ever come back home again. So Me and my little brother were really close, but
Right.
he just chose a different path than I did. I was more into church and basketball and singing. He was more into the streets and, working on cars or, just doing crazy stuff whenever he could. But I don't know. It's just like he always, tried to prove something or, I don't know what it was, but it was just his thing. He's straight now. He's doing good. But before that happened, I just came out here to try to spend time with him. But when I got here, it was totally different than what it was when I left. So it was just like, it made me sad when I looked around like, wow, like this opioid thing is crazy, just crack and cocaine and all this stuff. This stuff wasn't even around when I was a kid, like down here. I didn't see that until I, got to Detroit in like 84, 85. My
Right.
12-year-old friends were selling drugs while we was playing with our GI Joes in the sandbox. They would get up and run to a car, and I didn't know why. I mean, I was just so green to everything around me because
Yeah.
coming from West Virginia, I just didn't get it. And they would come back, and start playing with GI Joes with me like they hadn't done nothing. But I just noticed they had on brand new Jordans or they had like 3 or 4 grand in their pocket, you know, but they were selling drugs for the bigger, older people in our neighborhood, the actually the kingpins in our neighborhood.
Right.
But it was just weird for me. But and by the time I was 17, 18, half of those guys were dead or in Jackson prison. But the reason I came back here, like I said, was my little brother was about to get locked up. And I came back home to West Virginia to spend time with him. And when I got here, I looked around and I was like, this is so messed up. I mean, because when I was here as a little kid, we played in the mountains all the time. Played in the creek. And we made sailboats and floated them down streams, racing them and things like that. But it's like none of these kids around here were doing any of that no more.
No.
It's like everybody was so grown up so fast. Even like the little kids were smoking cigarettes or hanging out in places they wasn't supposed to be in. So I just decided to like start giving back to my community and start, getting in like little singing things and just raising money for different charity groups or homeless shelters or, stuff like that. And it kind of snowballed. And then I ended up, winning America's Got Talent after that.
When is it you like decided you wanted to sing?
What?
When is it you wanted to decide you wanted to sing? Like start singing as a career?
Oh, that was like, as a career, well, I actually started wanting to sing as a little kid. I mean, I grew up
Really?
on Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, that was everything. Michael Jackson, Marvin Gaye. I mean, then you got New Edition, Boys to Men, Jodeci, Jagged Edge. I grew up through all that whole era, so I always wanted to be that. But I didn't realize that I could actually sing until you remember you probably don't remember this, but Tyrese, the guy from Transformers,
I
he used to have
don't.
he used to have you. If you ever watched the movie Transformers or gone in what is it? Fast and Furious with Tyrese, the bald-headed guy, the bald-headed black guy. But he used to have this Coca-Cola commercial where he would put on headphones and he would sing on the back of the bus and everybody loved it. That was actually my life.
Really?
That's what I used to do. Yeah, I used to dribble my basketball to the corner store, get a huge Faygo and a pack of cookies, but I would be dribbling my ball with my headphones on, just singing. And I never wanted to sing in front of anybody, but a lot of old women be out in their yard sweeping the sidewalk or something. They scream my name like, hey. I take my headphones off like, yeah. She's like, you can actually sing, And then it's kind of like brought me out of my shell. And then one day I was working for Southfield Chrysler Jeep and Eagle. And well, before that, I was at the church where me and Chris Webber went to church at, and they had this young men and elder men meeting called Harambe. We used to do it like every year at Cobo Hall. It was sponsored by one of our mentors at the church by the name of Dennis Talbert. And he took me there to Harambe. And after they preached to us and, and gave us all these different workshops on how to grow up to be a, you know, successful black man or just a successful person in general. We would always have these concerts, and it was like all of these Christian rappers that came from Philly or, you know, New York and everything. It was like the cross movement. You can look these guys up. It's called the cross movement. It was the Ambassador and these two guys. One of the ambassadors, he was in a group called Deuce and Life. And this guy was like better than any rapper in the industry, but he only rapped about the Bible. That was it. He had no curse words. It was all like scriptures. Everything was on point. And I was always the guy who like basically made up the hooks while they did that. So I would just freestyle a hook off the top of my head. And all these Christian rappers would come in and just spit verses. And one day, Dennis Talbert, the guy who put it on every year, he recorded it. And he gave me a cassette of it maybe like a week later. And that's the first time I ever heard my voice, like actually on a, you know, a recording. And I was just like, ugh. And he was like, no, it's actually good. You know, everybody wants you to do it every year. So we kept doing that. But, you know, that snowballed. I ended up getting a job at Southfield Chrysler Jeep and Eagle in Southfield, Michigan on 12 Mile and Telegraph. And while I was detailing the car, getting them ready for the auto shows and things like that, I had my headphones on. I would be, you know, washing the car, detailing it while I was listening to music. And one day my boss was standing behind me just watching it. And I took my headphones off like, is something wrong? He was like, no, you can sing. Why are you working here for me? I was like, oh, whatever, you know. And he was like, no, you can actually sing. You need to be in Vegas somewhere. Because to me, it was comedy. It was like when I sung like Frank Sinatra or did any of those things, it was on the basketball court. You know, instead of like, you know, trash talking in the hood, you really want to make people smile, because trash talking can lead to the playground getting shot up, innocent people getting killed just over a foul call or something like that, or just a Showtime dunk. So when I dunked on somebody, I go, boom, fly me to the moon. You know, it made everybody laugh. So, you know, my friends in the hood, they was like, oh my God, this is funny, man. Please, man, come to the club with us. You got to sing these songs. Because they thought it was Def Comedy Jam to them, that I sounded like Frank Sinatra. It was funny to everybody. Everybody just laughed, you know. But like I said, I was working for this rich white guy, and he was standing there like, man, you need to bring a change of clothes to work Friday. I'm going to show you what you really have. Yeah. And that Friday, I brought a change of clothes to work. Right after we punched out, I shined my car up, and he was like, leave your car here in the parking lot and ride with me. You know, I went in the locker room, changed my clothes. I get in the car with him. He takes me way out to like Oakland, Michigan. It's the suburbs of Michigan. And we get out there, and I think he takes me to like a Mr. B's Irish pub or something like that. And he said, okay, everybody's going to look at you all weird when you walk in here, because, you know, people like you ain't normally out here. So I was like, I get it. I get it. So I walk out there. We walk in the place. And he was like, just stick by my side. I'm going to sit you at the bar, and I'm going to get the microphone. And I was like, cool. So I'm sitting in there, and everybody, just like he said, everybody turned and looked and was like, who is this guy? And then they just went on back to their conversations. You can hear the forks, glasses, everybody just chiming and, you know, talking, just conversations all throughout the room and everything. But he came back and he got me a drink. I got a Hennessy and Coke. And then he handed me a microphone. And he was like, just start singing. And I was like, right now? He was like, yeah, I didn't introduce you or nothing. Just start singing. So I started singing Fly Me to the Moon. Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. You know, just like that. And the whole room just stopped. Everybody stopped. And all you can hear, all the forks drop. Everybody's glass hit the table. Like, and then everybody just like staring at me the whole time. And I just finished the song. And I looked around, and the whole room was like in tears or just super happy. Like, they were going nuts about it. And I was like, wow. And he was standing over there looking at me like, I told you. I told you. And I was like, what is that? He was like, you can actually earn a living from this. You need to go to Vegas. you know. So
Right.
that's the first moment that I realized that I could actually really, really do something with my life. But still, I was still in that rut, you know, being in Detroit, surrounded by all this madness, and most of your friends and family was the ones who hated on you the most. Like, oh, you can't sing, shut up. Nobody want to hear that. You know, sing some Motown. Why you keep singing Frank Sinatra? You know,
Right.
but they didn't understand it because I was the type that I didn't stay in the hood all the time. I would always go to the suburbs to just see a better part of life. You know, everything ain't got to be so ghetto and so ratchet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and it's like some people are mentally stuck in a place that they don't even believe that they can get out of. But I've never felt like that. I always felt like my life would be better because of the blessings and the gifts that God always gave me. I mean, I can draw, I can dance, sing, I can cut hair, play basically any sport that I've ever tried to play. Like, and I'm not even bragging, I'm just actually good at
Right.
like a whole lot of stuff. So it's just like I always knew God had a calling on my life. I just didn't know where to put that, you know, in my life. Where, how do I use it? And that's the biggest problem when you have so many gifts is, okay, I got all these gifts now. What do I do with them? Like,
Right.
and if you don't have that person that actually sees that potential in you and to help you or push you or guide you, you basically lost. It's like having all the talent in the world and nothing to do with it. It's a waste of time.
Right.
You know, it's a waste of blessing. So I just had to sit down, focus, listen to the universe. And, you know, I started working and making money and things like that. And I kind of like lost track of, you know, where God was trying to place me. But then, boom, he let me get robbed. And when I got robbed, I realized I had nothing else. I was like,
Right.
all I got right now is me. I don't have no furniture, no clothes. He basically stripped the copper out of my walls. They took, you know, the chandeliers, everything that I worked for. They took it all, and it was just like, okay, what do I do? And the first thought in my mind was that ghetto mentality, like, okay, since they robbed me, I'm gonna rob somebody else. You know, I'll just, you know, I'll rob every drug dealer that comes to Logan County. I mean, who are they gonna tell? They gonna tell the police something? No. You know, so it was just like that mentality kicked in, and it was like, no, it's like you got too many gifts, you can't do that. It was like all you need is a bigger stage, and I kept saying to myself, bigger stage, what is that? And next thing I know, the TV in the room that I was sitting in went to a commercial, and it was Howie Mandel. Are you the next one of America's Got Talent? Do you have what it takes to headline your own show in Vegas? Are you our next $1 million prize winner? I am talking to you. And when he did that, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I bet that lit a
It's
light
like, are
bulb
you
up.
serious? Yeah, it was like, it just clicked. And I was like, wow, that's it. So I went in the other room to, like, I was dating this girl at the time. She had a daughter. I had got her a little laptop. And I went in her room and signed up for America's Got Talent. I waited for that. You know, maybe 6 weeks later, I got a confirmation email. They told me to wait on a confirmation call. They called maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later. Next thing you know, they just told me to come to New York. So I saved up all the little money that I had working for a Toyota dealership. And I saved up my money and I got a ticket and went to New York, you know, and Manhattan at the Jacob Javits Center. I stood in line from like 5:48 a.m. to maybe 6:30 p.m. And then I didn't get into the building until like maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock that night. And I was the last
Oh my
person to
God.
audition. And when I did that, they was just like, you got to stay right here. We're going to send you down to the big room so you can do the same audition that you just did for us. So don't be nervous. Just do exactly what you just did for us for the producers. And this is before like the stuff that y'all saw on television, me sticking a gum in my pocket. This is like
Yeah.
way before that. This is like maybe a year before then. And so I went to the producers room and I did the same thing. And they was just like, oh my gosh, where have you been? And I told them about my life just like I'm telling you. And they was just like, that's just amazing. They was like, just here's what we want you to do. We want you to go home because they're all British. We want you to go home, lock yourself in your room, and don't come out. And I was like, all right. They was like, we will be sending you a ticket. So just Don't go anywhere. Don't go to the store. Don't go to the gas station. Just stay in your room. And that's what I did. I came back to West Virginia from New York and just locked myself in my room and sit around and waited. And they signed you to a confidentiality contract. So you can't tell anybody, you know what just happened. So I'm sitting there like this, like, oh my gosh, I just got to be quiet. I can't tell my mom. I can't tell nobody.
That would be tough.
It was crazy, man. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't let anybody know. Only person knew was the girl that I was with, and I basically had to duct tape her. You know what I'm saying? And just put her in the room, like, because if you tell, you forfeit. It's like it's called a spoiler. You know, that's what they call it in that industry. It's like you don't want to be the one who spoils, the excitement of it all. So it's like I couldn't tell anybody. I had to come back to this small town where everybody knows everybody from Walmart or the Piggly Wiggly or the gas station. They know you. Everybody's like family. Everybody's like close around each other. You see the same faces. But I got to act like nothing happened. I'm sitting back like, okay, yeah.
How long did you have to do that?
On TV. Oh, man, till our audition. When that first audition was, it was 2010. It was like maybe November the 10th of 2010. And then when I went back to actually do the taping audition where you actually see me stick the gum in my pocket with the real judges, that was April 1st. So I'm in New York, skinny, tall black guy with dreadlocks, singing Frank Sinatra on April Fool's Day. Can't make it up.
What was that like?
So I had to come home. Yeah, I had to come home and wait for like maybe because it aired May 31st, which was on my girlfriend's birthday at the time. So I didn't have to buy her nothing. Just like click, happy birthday, we're on TV.
That's nice.
Yeah. She was my wife at the time, but we're divorced now because it's like after all of this happened, I think she wanted the fame more than I did. And it just kind of like went to her head and she just started acting all kinds of weird. I just watched so many people around me change after that happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of people always say, don't change, but it's not even you that changes. It's just you're trying to better yourself and so many people want to hold you back into that place. And it's not even you changing. It's just you trying to move forward in your life and progress. But everybody else still has that mentality. It's that crab in the barrel mentality, just pulling you back down. And then if you look back, you say, oh, wow, it's not me that's changing. It's them. It's like they're looking at me different. I'm like that big piece of chicken and they're sitting there going like this. And that's how it is. Like when you blow up, you're gonna see the same thing. Like when even if I don't know if you blew up already, but if you are in that space right now in your life, you're gonna see all the people around you start looking at you like they're hungry. They get that look in their eyes like a cheetah on the Sahara, just staring down a gazelle. Like as soon as you dart, they're gonna chase you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way I felt. I was like, wow, but I had to sit back. I had to sit back and look at it. You got to view it. You have to really picture it like, oh, wow, it's not me.
Yeah.
It's them. I mean, it's because they don't have what I have. But they don't realize their blessings because they're so busy staring at mine. Yeah. It's
Did
weird,
you realize?
Man.
Yeah. Did you realize that pretty quickly or did it take time?
It took a while. It took a while for it to kick in, because I was so naive. I'm like, oh, that's my family. That's my friend. That's my homie. That's my cousin. I know these people. I know they're my neighbors, man. But after you start seeing it, it's just like, wow. It's like, it throws you back because you're like, man, I really love this person, but clearly they don't have any love for me. Like they have no love for me. It's all about what I was able to give them or what I was going to do. They didn't even think about their own goals anymore. I mean, I had people that always call me by my nickname. And my nickname is Dooney. And if you ever watched like America's Got Talent, all the little kids that was on the show that I was competing against, like the Silhouettes or all those, they always call me Uncle Dooney. We love you, Uncle Dooney. you know. But everybody always calls me Dooney, like friends, all the way
Right.
up to my cousins. All of a sudden, you know, even the woman that I was with at the time, she stopped calling me Dooney. She started calling me Landau. And that's my real name is Landau Eugene Murphy Jr.
Yeah.
But just for her to start calling me Landau because of that, you know, and then
Yeah.
she didn't even like introduce herself anymore. She would go, "Hi, I'm Landau's wife." Instead of saying, "Hi, I'm Jennifer Murphy." You know? It was like, "Hi, I'm
Yeah.
Landau's wife." Like, wait a minute, you have a name, you have your own identity. Why are you
Right.
approaching people saying that? It was just weird. She would go, "Landau, come here. You got a phone call. Landau, come here. Can we go to the store?" And I was like, "Why are you calling me Landau?" I mean, I could understand the people that just saw me on America's Got Talent, or somebody like you that just know me from Landau calling me
Yeah.
Landau. But if me and you grew up together, you've been calling me my nickname all my life, you're not gonna stop calling me my nickname. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you still call me Dooney. What's up, bro? Like, what's up, Dooney? You know, I know people to this day, like real friends, that still like when people say Landau, they're like, "No, that's Dooney." That's Dooney right there. That's my dude. You know, but it's like I said, you just have to picture it. It's something that you're gonna have to go through. You're gonna see it. It's gonna make you sad, but it's
Yeah.
also gonna give you more power. It gives you more strength to know who you are and what you bring to the table in people's lives, and then you start to learn where to put those things. You know, where to invest your time at, where to invest your
Yeah.
money, how to give back, how to pay it forward. You know, so it's all a learning process, but you just got to take it one day at a time. You can't like speed through this. It's not, here's my motto. It was when I started, everybody was trying to push me like fast, fast. Everybody was like, "Man, you got to do this. You got to go here." They wanted me to move to New York. They wanted me to move to California. It was like, no. And I was like, no, I'm calm now. Take me a deep breath because y'all trying to make me sprint. And I want to see every bit of this. I don't want it all to fly by me. And then when I get to these interviews and you ask me questions, and I'm like, I don't remember.
Right.
You know, because I've been around so many stars now that really have that problem. You know, I'd be like, "Hey man, what was it like, you know, being on the road?" You know, and they'd be like, "Oh, I don't remember, man. I was partying so fast and everything was going by so fast. I don't even remember the 70s. I don't remember the 80s. I don't know what I was doing in the 90s." And I'm like, "Man, you got all this success and you don't remember none of it? None of it?"
Yeah.
I
That's
mean, I
sad.
remember the old lady that I helped across the street before I blew up. I remember all of that. I remember carrying a lady, you know, 4 blocks because she passed out on a hot summer day. And then when I dropped her off at the shelter that she was trying to get to, like this little, it's like a center for elderly people. She was walking from her house trying to get there. And I was walking from school. And I was walking from my high school, but the place was across from my middle school. And when I dropped her off, the whole school had the windows raised up and they was all clapping, you know, thanking me for saving this
Right.
lady on a hot summer day. But she was like dead weight. And I'm barely 180 now. At this time, I was maybe like 135 soaking wet. I'm in like the 9th, 10th grade. I'm trying to carry this old lady, and she's like, you know, she's like dead weight. But I did it through the strength of God or something. I don't know how I carried that lady, but
Yeah.
I just feel like all of those little things and remembering all those things and doing all those things is what got me to where I am right now today. So like I was saying before, the motto is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Because in a marathon, you
Right.
pace yourself. You can look around, take a drink of water,
Yeah.
you know, you slap somebody a high five. You can see all of it. You can see everything that's happening, all the people that's coming and going. You get to see all the faces, know all your fans. You might not know them all by name, but at least you know their face. If you ever see them again, like, "Oh, I remember you at, you know, such and such weekend thing, or this happened, or you was at this concert." I know all of my fans like that.
Yeah.
Like, and I remember every bit of America's Got Talent from the first audition all the way up to, you know, elimination week. I mean, just about every bit of it, all the interactions I had with the judges, even on screen and off screen, all the contestants, all me just telling them all my stories and stuff before we actually went and competed against each other, all of it. I remember every bit of it because I was able to sit back and focus, you know, and I've never been high doing it all. I've never been drunk doing it all. So I've been like clear minded and focused. So
Right.
I'm able smell the roses and keep going and know where to put all of these things, these blessings that God blessed me with. I know how to put them in the right places. Like, I need to help these people. I need to do this over here. I got to pay it for these kids, you know, so they can understand the same way my John, Sally, and Chris Webber did for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It all comes full circle. It's all full circle, man. Like, it's amazing when you sit back and think about it. But, you know, I made it through it and I'm still going. I just wrapped up my Christmas tour, my 10th annual Christmas tour, 10 years, you know. So I got my 4th album is out now. You can go listen to that on at LandauMurphyJr.com, you know, and it's just, everything is beautiful, man. How was your Merry Christmas? I hope it was good for you and your family.
It was good. It was different this year.
Man. Yeah,
so
yeah.
Different.
Yeah. But it was good. Everything's been going great for me, man. And,
That's
you know,
good.
I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful for this opportunity to speak to you. You know, and I wish you all the success in your career moving forward too. But like I said, just pay attention and you'll see it. You'll see it.
We appreciate you coming on. It was a shock when you got back with us. We were like, what?
Yeah, like I said, I don't miss anything. You know, and if I can help you out in any other kind of way, like doing these or, you know, future interviews, just hit me up, man. I'm still him. I'm still down to earth. I can still look you dead in your face and tell you God is real and dreams do come true. Like, I haven't lost no bit of my soul or anything, and I'm proud of that. You know, and even in this downtime, I just went back to high school. I just graduated high school.
That's huge.
Yeah, I dropped out of high school. I dropped out of high school in 11th grade in 1992. Well, 91, because I was supposed to graduate in 92. And I just graduated, man, during this pandemic. I took this whole downtime to just study and get my high school equivalent. You know, so for anybody out there that's watching this, just to try to inspire you, if you feel like you haven't, you know, succeeded in that area of your life and you dropped out, you can always go back and, you know, get it done. I done it. I'm a living witness that it's possible. So just keep on striving to be the best you can be.
I love that. How'd the pandemic affect your music and concerts?
Just slowed everything down. I mean, I've been grinding and working ever since America Got Talent, like 10 years straight. But like I said, this whole pandemic has been a blessing in disguise. It gave me the downtime to actually, you know, be with my little son. I got a 3-year-old son named Logan Eli. And I spent a whole lot of time with him. And then it's just going back to school. Just putting all these little things that I've been wanting to do that I didn't have the time to do. I just been taking care of it all. Like, I was learning to like actually live in my house. You know, after I won, I bought the house, but I never really got a chance to live in. I'm living in and out of hotels in the suitcase.
Yeah,
you know
always
what I'm saying?
On the road.
Like from one city to the next. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years. Like, and now this whole pandemic happened. And it postponed all of my events into 2021, you know, and then I had to do the little things that I'm doing is all like this, virtual. So it's just like, oh, wow, I got to adapt to this virtual world.
Yeah.
Because I'm a people person. I love shaking hands and hugging people, taking selfies. I sign autographs from the first person in line all the way to the last person leaves. I'm the first person in the building and the last person to leave, besides the janitor. And I even take a selfie and sign an autograph for him or her, you know. It's just, that's just the way I am. So I don't say no to any autographs or pictures or nothing like that, you know. And it's just like, now I'm getting used to this whole virtual world, you know. And then even in this whole quarantine thing, I was a victim of COVID. So I ended up getting COVID-19 going to a pumpkin carving party during Halloween. And it made me weak for 3 days. I was like super tired and weak for like 3 days straight. But my little son is like, Daddy, can you give me a bowl of cereal? Daddy, can I have a cupcake? Daddy, can you play with me? Daddy, can you turn on the Xbox? Dad, can I see your phone? I mean, it was just like he kept me up. So I was like thankful for that.
Yeah.
And so after those 3 days, I got my strength back. And then I was quarantined. I went and got checked. And then they told me to stay in the house for 14 days, me and my son. I was positive. My son was negative. We stayed in the house I stayed in the house with him for 25 days, though, instead of the 14. Because I was just scared after that. I was like, I don't want to go nowhere.
I would be too.
So I'm in the house, but then I just realized that I was just like laying around. I was like, oh, start working out. So maybe like a week into my quarantine, I started working out. I started lifting weights. But it was weird because with this arm, I can curl a 40 to 45 pound dumbbell with ease.
Right.
This bicep, I could barely curl a 15-pound dumbbell. And I guess that was like the other side effect that I got from it. It's like I couldn't pick up a 15-pound dumbbell with this arm. And this is normally my strong arm. And I was just like, what is wrong with my bicep? You know, the tricep stayed strong, but the bicep was like jello. And I didn't understand that. And then I lost my sense of smell, taste. I got a terrible headache, stuffy head, but no mucus. My nose never ran, but it always felt like it was stuffed or congested. And then I lost my sense of taste, sense of smell. And then, like I said, it was just like I'm trying to lift weights, and I'm lifting weights like this. Like it's like, because this arm is doing nothing, giving me nothing. I was just like, it was weird. I felt like a cartoon. You know how when they shake their muscle and it's like, whoa. That's what it felt like. I was like, what happened to my bicep? Like, you know, but I finally got the strength back in that just by sitting around. I was laying in bed and just trying to lift this 15-pound dumbbell while I was laying down. And then I finally got it to where it started like hardening up. And then I went from that to, you know, doing curls on my bench, just sitting up like this. And then I went back to this right here. And it was just like, after a while, I got back up to like being able to lift a 35-pound dumbbell with this arm. But now I'm back up to like 50-pound dumbbells, like just doing bench, you know, bench ups like that. But it's just, it was just weird, man. I couldn't believe how that affected me, you know. And then nobody else, I don't think, had that. Anybody else that I asked, they was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I couldn't lift a 15-pound dumbbell with my left arm." It's like my bicep was dead. It just died. Somewhere within that whole quarantine, it died.
Yeah, that whole virus just affects people in weird ways.
Yeah, it really does. Because I mean, that's why I was saying I was really scared, more scared for my son and my mom. My mom is a diabetic and she loves my son. So I was just like, okay, I got this thing. I need to take my son to my mom. But then I was like, well, what if he has the thing, but it ain't affecting him and he gives it to my mom?
Right.
You know, and
never know.
Something happens to her. Right. I was just like, I don't know what to do. And then I called the people, and they was like, no, just you keep him in the house with you. I was like, well, I don't want to give it to him. And they was like, no, he's asymptomatic or something like that. She said to me. I was like, okay. I was like, will he get it? And they was like, no, if he doesn't have to get it in like the next 7 days, then it's not going to affect him. But just keep him away from your mom. And I was like, okay. So I just kept him in the house for like 25 days. My mom would come in my yard because I got these cameras. You know, she'd be talking to him on the camera in the yard. She's like, send him out here, please. I just want to see him. Bring my baby out here. I was like, I can't. Like, Mom, you got to go home. And then, like, after the 14 days was up, she was right there. I was like, no, just let me stay in here for another 6 to 7 days. And then I'll give him to you. After that was up, you know, I let him stay with her for maybe like a week and a half. She didn't want to give me my son back. I was like, but like I said, this pandemic it's been a blessing in disguise, you know, and I feel so bad for the people who lost loved ones and the people who, you know, really suffered in this whole pandemic. But for the ones of us who have made it through it, I mean, we just got to see the blessing of it. We really have to understand the most important parts of life. And I think this has really opened our eyes to see those things, you know, especially me. I mean, I've painted like 6 rooms in my house. I've learned to like actually live in my home. I've been cooking biscuits and all these different recipes, stuff that I just didn't do, you know. I learned how
Yeah.
to make butter biscuits the other day, and it was blew my mind.
Yeah, it really
Yeah.
teaches you to live in the moment, I think.
Yeah, it slowed us down, man, because we was
Yeah.
all trapped in our phone. You know, everybody's like this. You ain't paying attention to nothing over there. You just in your phone. But now this just kind of like slowed everything down. Like, okay,
Yeah.
wow, this is really my life. Look at all this around me. I got all this stuff around me. I didn't even see it. I didn't see the beauty in it. You
Yeah.
know, you don't really notice how beautiful it is outside until you actually can't go there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I want to go out my yard and play right now. I wish I can cut my grass. But you scared to get that virus, you know. That's
Right.
something that I had to deal with. I had to like mentally shake that feeling. Like, cause I was just like, I think the news and all the social media kind of made us all paranoid too, in a
Yeah.
way. You
Especially when it
know?
first happened.
Yeah. I mean, and everybody was calling me a conspiracy theorist when it started, you know, getting ready to happen. Because
Yeah.
I was actually in New York in Times Square. I was doing Nat King Cole's 100th anniversary, and I was doing a show at the what's that place called? The Rum House, right off of like Times Square. And we're sitting there, and I'm with the No Vacancy Orchestra and Dave Damiani, all my buddies. We had just did a show. We're sitting around just celebrating after the show. And I start telling them about this pandemic, but you know, they wasn't listening. It's like everybody was laughing about it. It's like, oh, Landau, man, you a big conspiracy theorist, man. Why you always doing? I was like, no, I'm serious, bro. Like this thing is coming here, so y'all better drink up because this is about to be the last big hurrah that we
Right.
have. All this gonna be shut down. They was like, come on, man, you ruining our buzz. I'm like, okay. It's like, all right, give me another Sprite because I want to see y'all faces when this is over. I'm sitting there drinking my Sprite and they're all having fun, and I'm just in the room just looking at all of them. It was sort of like, I don't know, it felt like a Titanic moment. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, when you know the ship is going down, you're just like, oh my God, they don't know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
They don't know we just hit this iceberg. You remember this? You remember the captain on the ship when they already knew about it? He was just walking through the place looking at everybody like they don't know this ship is about to sink. And that's how I felt. I felt
Right.
exactly like that. Like, wow, they so oblivious to what's about to happen. And I knew it. I was like, if they don't lock down the country, you know, because you got to realize all the cruise ships was out overseas and these porting in these different places, you know, and then all of, you know, the businessmen were in China and Germany and all these different places, and they were all going to come back to the United States. And I knew it. I was like, what they need to do is all those people that's coming back into the United States, they should have put them people on the island somewhere or a military base and
Yeah.
quarantine them. If they'd have quarantined them, we'd have never got that over here.
Right.
But they just let everybody in. It's like, okay, go home, stay in your house. No, you think everybody got to get food? They got to go to the grocery
Yeah.
store. You know, you got to go get gas in your car. You got to do all these things. So now you just, as soon as you touch this, somebody else touches this, somebody else touches it, and it's just everywhere. And you got people sneezing in the store, sneezing in the dentist's office, wherever. You know, because and then that's when it all like just blew up. You know, and
Yeah.
now I think it's just running its course. You know, and then these vaccines is coming out, and once everybody gets that, you know, and then that's, you know, you're scared of that too now because
Yeah.
they say it's so many theories out here, man. It's just
Yeah.
it makes you paranoid.
Everyone's
But I just think,
conspiracy theorists now.
yeah, to some degree, you know, even
Yeah.
me, it's just like, oh my God, what? Because I remember like when I all was like really going down. I actually saw a movie about this in 2018 on Netflix. It was in Mandarin though, so you had to sit and watch it and read all of what was going on. But it was telling you exactly about this pandemic,
Really.
and this was way before it even hit. So it's just like, but I didn't realize it until it all started happening. I was like, damn, that's exactly what that movie was about. And you can look it up now. It's on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there anymore, but I can't remember what it was called. It started with a T or something. Contagious or something like that. It was something weird.
I think I've seen
And
the trailer for it.
yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
and then the crazy part about it is the whole Kobe Bryant thing happened. You remember that?
Yeah, that's terrible.
You know, all you saw was Kobe Bryant, but no one looked up here in the left top hand corner where it said
You're right.
COVID-19. You know, nobody was reading this little headline right
Yeah.
here because they were looking at Kobe. I mean, I'm sitting on the side of my bed crying about Kobe, not even,
Yeah.
you know, but then I look back at it, I was like, what is this COVID-19 thing over here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so, like I said, when I got to New York, I was telling all my buddies about it, and they was like, man, you such a conspiracy theorist, man. You always got some conspiracy to talk about. I was like, I don't talk about stuff that I don't know. That's something that I don't do. I just don't waste my time
Right.
speaking on things I don't believe in or don't actually see with my own eyes. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can touch it. If I can touch it and look at it and see it, I know it's there. Like, I'm not just gonna waste your time and energy just blabbing out of the thin air, like making up stuff. It's just, that's a waste of time and energy. So, and I kept telling them that, but then right after it happened, I get back home, I go straight to the grocery store, and I bought like these big things of Angel soft toilet paper. I bought the big bundle, so I bought 2 of them, put those in my buggy. I grab a whole bunch of food and everything, and I fill up my whole pantry and my freezer, my deep freezer. Then I go home, and it's like maybe about a week later, 2 weeks later, everything goes crazy. And they're saying, oh, it's a toilet paper shortage. Oh, it's this. You better go to the grocery store. Then my phone starts blowing up. Everybody's like, man, how did you know about it? I was like, I told y'all, man. When we sitting in the rum house and y'all was getting drunk, I'm sitting there drinking my Sprite. I told y'all this was going to happen. He's like, yeah, man, I don't know what I'm going to do. I got to go to the grocery store. But the grocery stores, everybody's freaking out. There's no toilet paper. I was like, I got all of that. I'm sitting in the house like, man. And I got it before, like, yeah, I was already right. I was on it. So it's just, you know, I probably haven't been grocery shopping since the pandemic, basically. I got so many canned foods and, you know, Progresso soups and Camel soups and I mean, everything and toilet paper and all of it. I was just like, I bought all my stuff to wash my clothes for this whole time. Yeah, I went shopping one more time since then because I had to go back and buy like you know, some little necessities like Ajax or Pine Sol and Lysol and stuff like that. But other than that, I've been doing pretty good with it.
Yeah, this whole year it's just been a roller coaster.
Yeah, big time. Big time, man.
I got one more question, then I'll let you go.
Right.
What was it like when you got to the auditions and saw Nick Cannon and Howie Mandel and all of those people?
It was, you know, surreal. It was weird because I actually couldn't even believe I was there. I kept thinking I was dreaming. Right. You know, and Nick Cannon is one of those small parts for me having that gum in my mouth when I walked out. You know, and the crazy part about it is I had a fake tooth, the partial, that you had to like clip in, but I didn't like the clips because they used to always hurt my teeth back here. So I broke the clips off and I would just stick it in my mouth. But I could be talking to you and my tooth would fall out like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It would like fall out like mid-conversation.
Did that happen when you talked to him?
Oh no, right before I went on the show, I remember I was talking to this girl at the gas station. Like, hey, what's good? She's like, hey, how you doing? I was like, what's up? How you doing? And my tooth fell out. Hey, bro, I'm telling you, when my tooth fell out, it hit the ground, right? it hit the ground, and I swear, in mid-conversation, I kept right in her face, and I bent down and picked it up, put it back in my mouth, and kept on talking to her. He was like, what the But ever since then, I started I knew that I could put a piece of gum in my mouth to actually hold it in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So during that audition, I got paranoid. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be on that. And I'm gonna be singing my way. It was gonna fall out. You know, so it's like, oh my God. I was like, this could be so bad. So I got like really scared. I got like super nervous, man. Right. I mean, my hands are sweating right now just talking about it. So standing backstage, I remember it was like, I was like, man, they ain't even gonna let me audition. I've been here all day. They didn't call me back and save my money to get here. And it was like, it had to be like 9:30 at night now. And this is the taping part where you actually see me with the gun and all of that in front of the judges. But I'm behind the stage. I'm backstage standing there like, man, it's late. They about to stop. I'm telling you, they ain't gonna let me audition. This is messed up. So I just figured I just wasted my money and came to New York again. But then the guy comes back there and he was like, okay, Mr. Murphy, here's your microphone. He handed me this mic. And he was like, you're up in 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, God. I got this microphone in my hand. I'm shaking like, oh, man, this is my nerve. I was like, oh, and then Nick Cannon, like, he had just talked to somebody, one of the contestants, then he was taking a break. You know, he has to change his suits, you know. So he leaves where he stands off the side of the stage, and he comes past me. And I was like, what's up, Nick? He was like, what's up, bro? You ready to do your thing? I was like, yeah. He was like, what you gonna do? Because I didn't want him to know. I didn't want nobody to know what I was doing because I was doing Frank Sinatra. You know, and look at me. You wouldn't think I was doing Frank Sinatra. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just like, I didn't tell him. He's like, all right, I'm going to see you in a minute. So he leaves. He goes up to his green room, his dressing room. And he comes back and he's like, you sure you ready? I was like, yeah. And he shook my hand. And then he went that way. And I was like, dang, I just sit here and talk to Nick Cannon. This is really happening. You know, like, this is actually happening, man. And so then I'm sitting there and I was just like, oh, man, I get my gum. I got my gum. Start chewing my gum. You know, I'm getting it all nice and broke down so it could stick. You know what I'm saying? He hold my tooth in. So, and then I start drinking room temperature water. I'm wetting my throat because they didn't give me a mic check. You don't get a sound check or nothing. So I didn't know how the mic was going to sound when I started singing. I didn't know what it was going to be like. So right there before you walk out on the stage, there's like velvet curtains. And then Nick standing there and he walk out on stage. But right next to him was a garbage can. So I was like, man, I gotta try to do this without this gum because it's, you know, what if I choke on the gum? So I'm going through all this stuff that's going through my head. Like, I'm like, but I can't let my tooth fall out, man. This is gonna be rugged, man. I'm from West Virginia, man. This is really gonna be bad for West Virginia if my tooth fall out on national television. So I was just like, okay, man, I'll forget it. I'll spit it out. But then when I got to the point, it was like, all right, Mr. Murphy, you up? I'll walk out and I just walk right past Nick Cannon. I walk right past the garbage can because now I'm nervous. I'm shaking. I walk right past him. I go right out on the stage, and Nick Cannon said, hey, man, you got to talk to me first. But, you know, in my mind, I just talked to Nick Cannon backstage. Like, oh, we got to talk to you again. You know, so that was like, and the whole audience started laughing, the judges, everybody started laughing. And that's when you see me come and actually shake Nick's hand. You see me come to Nick's hand. That was me walking back on stage, you know, back to Nick Cannon. I shook his hand. Then he said, you ready to do your thing? And he pat me on the back. And then I go on back out there. But as soon as I get out there, I see Howie Mandel. And I started laughing because I remember Howie Mandel from Fraggle Rock and the Muppets. And, you know, Bobby's World and all these different things. Everybody else knows Deal or No Deal and, you know, America's Got Talent and stuff like that. But I remember him when I was just a kid, like he was the voice for it and some of the Muppets and all this other stuff. as I was growing up. And plus he had like a big curly hair afro at the time. And he used to always wear this long black trench coat, and he would put these gloves on his head and blow it up like a big surgical glove, and it would all blow up like this. Like, I just remember all of that stuff, and it just surprised me that I was standing in front of him, and I started laughing at him. He was looking at me like, "Why are you laughing at me?" I was like, "I know, I remember you, man. I remember you from Bobby's work." And I said, "Hello, my name is Bobby." And then everybody was like, "Yeah," you know what I'm saying? Pierce Morgan was looking at me like this. He was tapping his pen on the desk, like I just felt like he was already gonna hit the X on me.
Gee.
You know, and then he asked me, like, "Are you chewing gum?" Because first Sharon Osbourne asked me, but I kind of like talked it off. And I was like, "Oh, I was in a new car detailer," and you can hear the gum in my mouth when I say that. You can tell that my tooth was trying to like come out. I was like, "Oh, I was in recently a new car detailer." It's like, you know, you can hear that, you know, and it was just like, wow. And then I played it off, and I was like, "Yeah, I've been washing cars for maybe about 10 years, you know. I'm a new car detailer." And Pierce Morgan was looking at me like, "What's wrong with him?" And he's like, "Are you chewing gum?" And I was like, "Yeah, you want me to take it out?" He's like, "I wouldn't do that if I was you." And I was like, stuck it in my pocket. Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, I just need to go like, boom. You know, spit it out. But then West Virginia to be like, "No, why did he do that? Like, really? We got so many stereotypes already. Why? Why would he get on TV?" Like, you know, so it was just like all this stuff was going through my head, man. It was just an amazing feeling, you know, to be standing there in front of those judges and, you know, be right there and just in the moment. But as soon as I started singing, it was like I had this outer body experience, man. It's like my whole soul lifted up out my body, and I could see myself performing. It's like I could see it, but I couldn't hear it. Because like I said, they don't give you ear monitors. They don't check your monitors in the room. You don't do a mic check. So it's like as soon as the track started, and I looked at Nick Cannon, and he pointed at the music guy, and they started the track, and go, and then it's like, once I heard that key moment, it was like, "I would sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of the warning voice that comes in the night and repeats how it yells in my ear." But I'm only feeling it. I can only feel me sing a song in my chest, but I can't hear it because the audience is like super loud. They went like, "Ah!" I was like, "Oh my God, I don't even know where I was in the song." I didn't even know where I was at. Like, I just kept singing. And then, like, if you go back and you look at my audition, when I hit that last night, "Under my skin," my pinky is like shaking so bad. Like, I was nervous because I didn't know where I was in the song. You know, as soon as I finished that last one, it was gonna go boo. I didn't know it. You know, I was like, "Oh my God, did I just mess all that up? Did I sing on beat?" Because I couldn't hear the track. I just kept singing. I just remember saying to myself, "Keep singing," because I could feel the words in my chest. You know how when you hum real deep, you can feel it. That's the way it felt. Like, so it yells in my ear. "Don't you know, you little fool?" You know, I could feel that. And so it was just like I just kept singing. And I knew I had 90 seconds. It was the instrumental for 90 seconds. I was like, I'm just gonna sing this quick part of this song, and then I'm gonna walk off the stage. But once I finished, the crowd was screaming and crying and cheering, and I'm trying to leave. And they're like, "No, you really don't know how good you are." So I was on the stage for maybe like another 30, 40 minutes with just them just telling me all this fantastic stuff about me and asking me where I've been. And the audience was shouting out stuff. I mean, they edited it off of TV to cut it all down, but I was on the stage for like another 30, 40 minutes.
Jeez.
Like just crying, trying to like leave, like just let me go. Like, it's like, "No, we know you're emotional. We understand why you've been through a lot, but you really don't know what talent you had." And the audience was like trying to get on the stage and hug me. And then if you go back and look at it again, you'll see when Sharon Osbourne was like trying to calm the audience down so they could actually talk to me and vote for me, you know, at the end. And I was just like, Like, just let me go, man. Like, let me off stage. I'm like getting mad at him. I'm like, I don't want to cry on TV, man, but it's like my whole life flashed in front of my eyes, like everything that I've ever been through and all the doubts that I had because of listening to other people. Like, oh, you can't sing. Oh, you ugly. Oh, you skinny. You ain't nothing. You ain't gonna never be nothing. You know, you start listening to that stuff, and that stuff like that is poison to your soul. And right at that moment, I realized how poisonous it really was to me, because it held me back from so many things that I could have been accomplished. You know? So like that moment was just amazing, you know, and then to get the confirmation from Nick Cannon, the confirmation from those judges, and then all of those wonderful fans sitting in the audience was just a blessing. It was something that I, you know, always dreamed of, but I never thought it would happen. And then when it did, that's when I was like, okay, dreams do come true. As long as you apply yourself, you know, and if you can think it and you want it, you can go get it. You know, and that's the same thing that inspired me to go back to school, because I always hated the fact that I dropped out of school. Here comes the pandemic. Okay, you got all this time, Landau. Get online. I've been sitting watching videos anyway. When I ain't, you know, on stage, I sit online all day and watch a video or, you know, learning different things. I was like, well, if I can watch a video, I can, you know, get online and start, you know, taking lessons. So that's what I did on edgeannuity.com. And then I went to this technical center in my neighborhood, and they set me up with some classes. And I would log on to Edgeannuity, do all these tests and things like that. And, you know, I got my high school equivalent. But it's like I said, it's all full circle. As long as you pay attention, you have to listen to the universe. You have to pay attention to the people around you. And then just know what you're worth and your blessings. What did God bless you with? You know, that's why you do this podcast, right? Because it's something that you love to do. Does it feel like work to you?
Yeah. I mean, we just started a couple of weeks ago, but we love doing it.
Exactly. So it's really not like a job. It's just like something that you love to do. And that's the same thing that I have in my career. It's like, I know it's a job. Everybody, you can say it's a job because I got to earn a living from it. But at the same time, it's basically every time I leave my house, I'm on paid vacation.
Right.
You know, I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm getting paid for it. And at the same time, I'm spreading love and paying it forward through different charities and different things like that. So it's all been a blessing, man. But, you know, so I'm thankful, man. I thank God for every up and down that has been in my life, because it just made me into the person I am. It really opened my eye. You know, they say you got that third eye. I ain't about to get in all that Illuminati stuff, but I really feel like I have a third eye. Like, it's like, you know, I'm just like, wow, I see it now. I can see it clearly. I can see clearly now. It's gone. I hope my tooth don't fall out.
We'd clip it if it did.
Right. Yeah, I got them all fixed. I was like, this is drilled in now. I don't have that clip anymore with. I kept it actually. I still actually have it. So the next interview, when you do another interview, I'll bring it on there. I'll show it to you.
Right.
I still had the tooth that I used to wear on America's Got Talent, one that I had. Like I said, I could be in mid conversation, it would just fall out, bro. It was the funniest thing ever, man. You know, it was so funny, man. That was the funny part of my life, bro.
I'm just imagining that girl's reaction to it when it fell out.
I'm telling you, man, because if you'd have seen the look on her face, because I was like, yeah, I'm smooth. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm about to run down here. We're supposed to go hoop in a minute, you know, and it was like clink, and it hit the ground like ding, 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 with this metal. You know what I'm saying? It made the noise and everything. Like, and I'm sitting there like this, like with no tooth right here. Like,
man, it's hard to play off.
Yeah, so I just kept looking at her like dead in her face. I reached down and picked it up, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we about to run out. She was like, what the fuck? You know, she gave me one of those, like, oh, what the? Did your tooth just fall out your mouth? I was like,
No.
I'm like, it ain't nothing, baby. It's all good, you know. It ain't nothing, baby. It's all good. I'll see you later. And it's crazy because I still know that girl, and every time I see her, she cracks up about that. She's like, "You remember that time we was at the gas station? You was talking to me, and your tooth fell out." Hilarious, man.
That is hilarious. All right.
Oh my God, I can imagine if my tooth would have fell out on that talent, what this would all be like. Bro, you're so funny. That would be hilarious. I'd be like, I did it my way. Clink.
Clink.
Like, oh God.
I think you'd still get a standing ovation.
Yeah, I just probably still got it, but they'd have been laughing. That would have. Imagine the memes that would have came out from that. Oh my God, the gifts, the gifs, all that stuff, man. That would have been like crazy. Bruh. I'd have been known as the guy. Hey, wasn't you on the Rest Got Talent and your tooth fell out?
Nope. Don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, like people see me now at the store. They be like, "Hey, you that guy from you didn't take the gum in your pocket." That's what they say to me. Hey, you still got that gum you stuck in your pocket? You still got those jeans? I'm like, yeah, I still got all of it. I still got that jacket, that Rockwear shirt. I still got those pants. I mean, it's all I had when I got to New York. I got robbed. Like they took all my clothes, all my furniture, everything. But that was the fire. That's what made me actually go get it. I had nothing to lose. Like
with the sport,
what do you had to lose? Yeah. Yeah.
But you look back on it now as a blessing that happened, though.
Yeah.
As bad as it was in the moment.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'll let you go. I don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
We'll have to do this again, though. Get you on again.
Yeah, just reach out again.
Right.
I always respond, man. Don't even sweat it.
We appreciate it so much.
Still doing it.
I love it.
All right, bro.
All right. Thank you, man.
No doubt.
Appreciate it.